This ain't what you want. Ha! 1600 block. I just wanna rock. I just wanna.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody having a good and blessed day. We're gonna get into this load board video. Let's see, we got 628 loads on the board. Now those 128 loads are not just for today, they are for the week. So we're gonna go down every state. There's actually a pretty decent amount of loads on here compared to what we usually see. Usually when I get on here it's like 4 and some change, so 628 is a bit different. So I have 3 loads already booked starting my next week. I have 2 tomorrow, kind of like what I did last Sunday. I have a Aberdeen to Cranberry, and then I have a Cranberry coming back to Aberdeen. So that'll be Sunday, and then Monday we have a Edison, New Jersey going to Palmetto, Georgia. And Georgia is kind of it's not a bad spot to go to. There's a lot of loads coming out of Georgia right now, so we should have no problems coming out. So let's start off in Alabama. Got 9 loads. Decatur, $3 a mile. It's not bad. Going out in Florida. Ooh, it's a little heavy. $3.39 a mile. Alabama to Georgia. $3 a mile. Yeah. I don't know about that. But all right. It's Arkansas. So the rates at JB Hunt right now, I mean, I guess they're like everywhere else. This right here is like the average. When you see stuff like this, it's usually because it's only going them type of miles. Anything over that is when you start seeing stuff like this. So, you know. Usually the short hauls pay more, and that's kind of what a lot of guys are doing now. They're just stacking up the short haul. That's what I did last week. I mean, the furthest I went was North Carolina, back up to Connecticut, down back to Pennsylvania, and I was basically done. A lot of short hauls, and I almost grossed 6,000 just doing little short stuff. I mean, I could have did more if I put more miles, if I put in more miles, but you know, I didn't, because I don't have to run my truck hard, and I don't have to, stay out a month at a time to be comfortable, because my bills at home are very low. Plus I have a wife, so it's like we basically go half on everything, no matter what it is. So it's basically what's mine is hers and what's hers is mine. So it's like, we pretty much, what I can't cover, she cover. So plus, a lot of things is low. Like our insurance and car notes and stuff are pretty low. So we have cars that's paid for and stuff, so it's not, nothing's killing me. Like, I don't have a Trackhawk sitting outside that I'm paying almost $1,500 a month for. So I don't see the purpose of paying $1,000+ a month for a car that you're barely even going to drive. Because you figure you're going 5 days out of the week. You're only probably home on the weekends. So it's, who's driving it? You damn sure ain't driving it. Because by the time you come home on the weekends, you either catching up on the rest or running a little errands that you're supposed to, like you probably driving that car one day out of the month, one day out of the week, probably 4 or 5 days out of the month. So I mean, I'm not knocking anybody to do it, but you know, to each his own. Because for me personally, my cent per mile to run my truck is $1.39, and that includes my truck note. My maintenance comes out of my truck note. That's already included. Um, that includes the bills we have at home, and that's adding up all the bills and cutting them in half. So even if I was to take all the bills and do 100%, it still would be under $2 a mile. There's some guys out here that they need to make at least $2.50 a mile to maintain. So like, I don't know, see if I can give you an example. Like $1.04, like me, $1.39 a mile. I could basically take, say, even if I took a cheap paying load. Let's do rate per mile. So we're not gonna do those. Like typical, let's do a typical JB Hunt load, which would be what, 232. Let's just do 250. So here's a 250. Here's a 250. Let's do a 250 with more miles. How about that? So let's change the line all. All right, so here's something. So this number, we get 65%. So you figure 34.47 multiplied by 65%. That's $2,240. Then we get 100% of the fuel. Oops. That's 608. So that's 28.48. And we're going to divide that. So we make $1.99 a mile. So it's not, I mean, it's not terrible, but you figure if I'm making what, 65 cents a mile, at dollar, if you take out my expenses and stuff from this $1.99, so figure I'm getting 65 cents a mile. So you figure 14.26 by 69 cents. So I put in my pocket $983 out of that load. That's what I put in my pocket. So that's just to give you an example of what, if you know what your truck costs to run, and you do those numbers, you know what you could possibly bring in. So you need to know, and of course you need to know that number before you book your load. Because if you sit around and try to do what I just did and calculate all that and be like, oh yeah, that's a good load, that load's not going to be there by the time you get done. Because good loads don't sit on this board long. I don't care where they coming from. They could be coming from Wyoming. Best believe that there's a driver sitting in Wyoming somewhere trying to get out, because they just had a storm over there and a lot of drivers were shut down. So I'm sure there's still drivers on that side trying to get out. California right now is still getting hit hard. I think JB Hunt sent out a message saying it was shutting down all the highways in California. So if you're a driver in California right now, you're pretty much not going anywhere till all that stuff is cleared up. So I don't even know why these loads were on the board, because we're not allowed to take them. So I don't even know why they have these on here. I don't know why they're here. got coming out of Florida? Now, usually Florida, it's rare to see a load that's paying over $2. Like if you're deep in Florida, there's not a bad load to come back out and just deadhead into Georgia. What else you got? It's not a bad one coming out of Jacksonville, Alabama. That's not a bad load to take you out of Florida, and it's light. What else we got? 216. Now I wouldn't take that all the way up to Indiana, not for 216 a mile. If I was to take one of those $2 loads, it'd be short, something like this, to get me to a better paying state. I wouldn't take that all the way to Indiana. What I've been seeing and noticed about JB Hunt too, when you see weight like this, 190% of the time, that's not the weight. Because I had a couple loads like this last week, and I was stuck somewhere, and I just took it, and I got there, and the load was like only 13,000 pounds. So when I see like an even number like this, I would take a chance on it, because I don't think it's that heavy. Now this right here, that might be a little more accurate. When I see it evened out like that, no. Like stuff like this, I'm sure that's probably the number. But when I see stuff like this, I don't think that's the actual number. So let's see. We're gonna be in Georgia we leave Monday, so we'll deliver on Tuesday. So Tuesday's date is what? The 28th. So what we got on the 28th? That's coming back up here. It's not worth it. No. Nope. This is not bad. Albany Journal up to North Carolina. Because North Carolina's not a bad spot. There's a lot of loads that come out of North Carolina. What else we got? Or we could stay a day if we get something paying better, but it don't look like it. But it's the weekend, so a lot more loads will pop up on Monday and Tuesday. So I'm not really in any I'm not really pressed right now to try to find anything. But this Auburn, North Carolina is not bad. That's a nice load. There's always loads coming out of Texas. This is the 25th. Oh, that's today. It's not a bad weekend load. Iowa. We got Iowa to Indiana. 45,000 pounds. See, when you start going to states like this, it's kind of flat, so you're not really burning that much fuel. So carrying a weight like this, I guess, wouldn't really matter that much for 308 miles. Well, that's only $180 in fuel surcharge, but if you just want to get out of Iowa and get to a state that has better loads, that's not a bad one. Or you can go to Kentucky. Kentucky has some nice loads too. And OTIF, that means that has a strict appointment time. It has to be there on this day. Ooh, let's see, 27. Yeah, I wouldn't take. It's only 561 miles, and you gotta hold on to it for basically. It's kind of like picking up on the 27th. Gotta hold on to it. You're gonna get it on 28th, and you can't deliver it to the 1st, so you kind of losing that day. But it's not a bad on the 27th, Monday. Yeah, I don't know about that. All right. Kansas City's a nice spot too. Everything coming there. Everything is heavy. Everything's coming out of one spot. Mainly going to either California or Washington. It's all coming out of one spot, but it's all, these prices is all over the place. They're all the same weight though. Whatever it is, it's all the same. Whatever it is, it's all the same thing. It's all weighing the same. There was a load like that I was doing from Piston, PA, going down to North Carolina. What they were doing was they were emptying a warehouse and moving it from one warehouse to various warehouses in North Carolina because one warehouse wouldn't take everything. So the weight was always the same because it was basically the same. It was the same product going down. And it always paid the same no matter basically kind of where it went. It was paying the same rate per mile. Because usually sometimes a rate per mile is what the receiver is willing to pay. And I think that's why you see some of the prices different when it's coming out of the same place but it's going somewhere different. You see the rate per mile change. Is some people that's receiving the product just not willing to pay as much as everybody else. I mean, Illinois is another hot state. There's a lot of nice loads that come out of Illinois. I mean, the Midwest is just hot in general. I don't care what time, when you get there, how you get there. It's just that's just how it is. Like the Midwest has always been popular with freight, and I don't care what kind of freight. Like when I used to haul cars, when I used to hot shot, I spent a lot of my time in the Midwest. That's just, I don't know, it's like it just pays. Like how Florida is just always bad for rates, the Midwest is always good for rates. Indiana. I'm sorry about the sniffling. I'm battling a cold still. I thought I was getting over it. Then my daughter got sick, and now I done got sick again. So, but price to being a daddy. I'd rather be sick than her be sick. I want to run in the Midwest one week. I need to get there. Find me a little lane to run. Keep going back and forth. I haven't really looked for one yet. I'm just basically just following the money. I want to find me a nice lane to run. I haven't really looked into one yet. But I'm thinking about switching carriers, so I take my hazmat test on, I leave money when I come back. I'm trying to come back Thursday, so I can take my hazmat test on Friday. Because the company I go to, the company I'm thinking about going to, you have to have your hazmat endorsement. So it's not that JB Hunt is bad. It's just, if I'm gonna deal with bad rates, I understand rates are down everywhere, but I'd rather have a more variety of bad rates. If you kind of understand what I'm saying, like the loadboard that I saw in the company I'm going to, like this number right here, you could probably multiply that by like 5 or 6. Like instead of seeing 38 loads, I might see like 200-300 loads in this one area, and that's not even for the week. That might be for the day. So it's just a lot different. Like I would have more, just more loads to choose from. And then you can that loadboard also you deal with brokers directly. So that's an even better way for me to find a dedicated lane. Where I was talking to somebody that works over there now. He said they have a dedicated lane over there that just runs from PA to Florida. It's the same broker, and he has enough loads where you just run down to Florida, from Florida back to PA, and probably back down to Florida, do my 34 down there, and come back up and just keep running it and make a nice. I think each way pays $3,500 or $3,700 each way. So, you know, you figure because you'll have enough hours to get there, get back, and do one more trip. So you figure just even it out. Just even it out at 3,500. You figure 3,500. You just multiply that by 3. Now I'm gonna lose a lot of. They have a fuel discount program over there. I don't know if it's as good as JB Hunt's, so I might end up having to pay a little bit more of a fuel. And I don't think they have the same toll package. But when if I'm gonna be making that kind of money, you figure I'm making an extra $3,000-$4,000 on what I make over here. Then the little bit of extra money I'm gonna have to pay in toll and fuel, it will still be worth it to make the switch. Because now instead of me bringing home, like last week I did a video. Like I said, I didn't run hard. Only went like down North Carolina to Connecticut and back home. So I didn't run hard. It's only like little under 1,800 miles. And my gross was a little under 6, like 5,700 and some change. After all my expenses and stuff, I'll bring home like 1,700. So, you know, my net would be a lot more profitable. Okay, nothing in Massachusetts. Says it has 1. Somebody must have took it. Maryland. I always look like when I'm home, I think I go to Maryland before I go to PA because I'm always looking. There's certain loads I'm looking for that's not on there right now. The same thing I do when I'm going to if like I'm clicking on Virginia and stuff like that, I'm looking for a certain load that I don't see on there, but I'm sure it's gonna pop up pretty quick. Be there soon. But I'm not going too fast for you guys. I know a couple of my videos just be long, so I'm trying to make it don't make it as long. I don't know, nobody wants to sit here and watch a video for an hour. So I'm gonna try to get through these. But I'd like to thank everybody for supporting the channel. Thank everybody that subscribes. You know, I appreciate all the comments and questions and stuff that I get from people and everybody that I can help. I'm gonna start. I don't have my email address in the description, but I'm gonna see if I could try to. I've got to go on YouTube and see how to put it in there in their permanent. So I have to type it in every time I make a video. Cause I know a lot of people ask me for my email because they have questions and stuff. So, you know, I talked to a couple of subscribers on the phone last week. So, I try to make myself available to answer as many questions as I possibly can, so everybody could try to make an informed decision about what they want to do. Like, you know, I don't tell people either way. Like, I just give them like general insight on what's going on. I don't say you should come to JB Hunt or you should not come to JB Hunt. Like, I just give you the information. I let everybody make their own decision. Like, I probably would have came to JB Hunt first anyway, because I didn't have my husband at the time, and the onboarding process for the other company is just ridiculously long. I think it's like almost a month for onboarding. So before I go, I'm gonna have to, you know, run a little hard so I could have some. Because I think that month of onboarding, I'm not going to be able to run JB Hunt and do onboarding at the same time. So I'm basically not going to be working for a month. I ran this load. No. I ran low coming out of New Bern. It didn't go to Hamilton Township though. It wasn't that heavy. I don't know if it's the same load or not. I'm thinking it is. I'm not sure. But yeah, North Carolina is another state you never really have a problem coming out of North Carolina. Like if I need to get back home, I would take this. Definitely take that. See this? They say calling for like my C. I have a new CC. When you first start JBN, you get a temporary CC. They're with you for a certain amount of time, help you get through certain things. Then like after 3-4 weeks, they transfer you over to your permanent CC. My permanent CC, terrible. I'm actually going to try to request a different one because me and him just really don't get along. Because I would ask for a line haul, and he'll answer back and say, "Oh, there's no line haul rate available." I know that. That's why I sent you the message saying there's no line haul. Can I get a price? Then he'll message me back and say, "Oh, let me check," and I'll never hear anything back. And then I'll go on there maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes later, and the whole load just be gone. Coming to find out that another CC got back to their driver faster than my CC did, and he found out what it was and booked the load. So I'm not booking loads if I don't know what the price is. Like, I'm just not doing it. Where did I leave off at? We're in New Hampshire. Well, I feel like I missed a state. I did North Carolina or Hampshire. Did I do New England? If I did do it, I'm sorry. I'm just not. Oh, that's Nebraska. Okay. Hampshire, Jersey. Yeah. Right. Get that to a company driver. I had an incident when I delivered, not really an incident, but I delivered a load to the Target DC in Chambersburg, PA. That was the last load I did last week. And 2 company drivers were in front of me. And they took the last 2 empties. So it's like, so now I actually don't have an empty to start my load tomorrow. So I have to contact and create for my loaders on the weekend, and the weekend staff is terrible at finding empties. So I don't know how this is about to go. So that's just I don't know. I'm just going to have to drive around blindly to places that I know that I might be able to find an empty and see if I can find one. And hopefully I get lucky, because as of now, I don't have one. So, but yeah, I get there and 2 company drivers, they took the last 2 empties and I was stuck with no empty. Because it's like, why don't you let the company drivers pull a dedicated trailers? Like, we already have a trailer shortage. So it's like, why just not let us ICs run with the over-the-road trailers? Why you don't give the company drivers the dedicated trailers to run? So, but it is what it is. But no matter how much we complain and say stuff, though, nothing change anyway. So I'm just venting, I guess, or nothing's going to change, and that's the problem. At least the only problem with the next company I'm thinking about going to, everything is basically live load and live unload. So the trailer you get is the big trailer you're going to have the whole time you're there. So at least I won't have to worry about finding a trailer. As long as I keep the maintenance up on it and stuff like that, I should never have a problem. And in certain places, live loads and live unloads aren't that bad, depending on where you go. I've had a couple when I've done with JB, and I've never had a problem being there, extraordinary amounts of time. So I actually have a live load coming out of Edison on Monday, and I've read the reviews, and they're all bad. So I'm hoping I don't have that same problem, but the reviews are terrible about the loading times and stuff. So, I mean, we get detention pay, so it's not as much as I would make if my wheels were rolling, but I guess something's better than nothing. Going through the hills of Pennsylvania with 41,000 pounds, yeah. Oh, you burning a lot of diesel there. I actually want to take a heavy load just to see how my truck would do, because I haven't done a heavy load on my truck yet. Just to see how it would do up the hills and stuff like that. Just to get an idea of how we'll pull a heavy load up to, like what the RPMs would be like, what kind of speed I can get, and stuff like that. If I'm not going to have to be one of those guys in the lane with my hazard lights on, doing 20 miles an hour at 1,500 RPM, and your needles are just creeping ever so slightly into the overheating zone. So, we'll see. Let's see, PA. I already got a load coming out. Let's see if there's anything better coming out. Get checked on my days here. Monday's the 27th. So let's see if we can find anything better coming out on 27th. Going somewhere different. No. What's this one? Butler to Piston. That'll be fine, but Butler is all the way up there by Pittsburgh. So that's too much of a deadhead for that little bit of money. It's Butler again. Okay. 278. What's 278? No, the load I got now is paying. The load I got now going down from Edison to the Palmetto, Georgia is paying me $291 a mile, $2,457.48. So, and it's only like 9,000 pounds. So, I think I'll stick with what I got. Because Edison is like maybe a little over an hour from me, and I could deliver if I get there first thing in the morning after my doctor's appointment. And head out if the loading time isn't bad. I could deliver Tuesday afternoon, and I'll probably just do my 10. If I can't find nothing coming right out, then I'll probably just get my next load on Wednesday, because both my loads on Sunday put together, there's like 1,500, and that's like 25, so that's already like 4 gross for the week. I'm trying to get to like 7, so, or 8 if I possibly can. So we'll see. I'm probably gonna have to do one of those. Probably gonna have to run over to run up to the Midwest or something. All right, where we at? I forgot where I was at. Did Pennsylvania should be South Carolina? Oof. Yeah, not looking good down in the South Carolina area. Tennessee. Well, Tennessee not looking bad. Yeah, there you go. Wanted to get back home. Tennessee to Jersey City. Not bad, dude. 23,000 pounds. See, I would have to do something like this. 26, 20. No. I had to look at the dates. Like, I look for ones that's like 01s. When I see lows like this, I'd rather take those. Because that means I could drop it at any time. I don't have to sit and wait for the delivery. I could drop it and just keep it moving. 05 means it has to be there that day. Like, it can't be there any other day. It has to be there on that day. And 2355 means it has to be there by midnight. of that day. And this right here is a strict appointment time. It has to be there at 12 o'clock. Now, they will actually, JVM will put this on there, and sometimes you can call, and sometimes that's not actually accurate. You'll call in a place like, oh, it's first come, first serve, or something like that. Like, I run into that a lot, so. But I'd rather just take something that's an old one, so I don't even have to guess. Now, the 15. This can get there early also. It's kind of like a 1. Now you see a 15 on a pickup. That's a little different. Like if you see a 15, like say you see a 15 on this side, which I don't see, you can actually pick it up a day early. So if it's up there on the 27th, you can actually pick it up on the 26th. So just say the first, you can actually deliver this on the 2nd. You don't have to wait to the 3rd. Texas got some nice loads. That's what I realized about Texas. It's a lot of Texas to Texas. In Texas, like a lot of loads stay in Texas for some apparent reason. I don't know why that is, but it's a lot of. But Texas is so big. Like, look at this one. Texas to Texas, 623 miles, and you're still in Texas. Like, that's just crazy how big that state is. Like, you're literally still in Texas. Okay. Utah. Well, this last section go pretty quick because none of these states really got a lot of loads. Utah. Virginia. If only this paid more. Because I want to get out to California. But not for that. I mean, it's light as hell. But still not for that. Because you figure, what would I make on it? Because this is going to take you, it's an 01. So however long it takes you to do 2,443 miles, they're giving you 4 days to get there. But if you could do it faster than 4 days, you could drop it any time because it's 01. But let's just see. 38, 87, 25, 26, and 1496. You get like 4,000 to the truck. It's $1.64 a mile, and I'm at $1.39. So, it's profit to be made. It's just, I mean, it's profit in there. Because my cent per mile is $1.39, and at the end of the day, I'm getting $1.64. So, I'm sorry, excuse me. So, all right, what else we got? Vermont. Oh, never mind. No fuel surcharge. That's a nice rate per mile though, but I would like that. When you see this, that means it came from the owner-op loadboard. For the guys that have their own authority, that came from their loadboard. So they had it, must have dropped it, and they put it on our side. Washington. Wisconsin. And last one, folks, West Virginia. So, but yeah, that'll do it for that. If anybody got any questions or anything, just leave me a comment below. I'm gonna put my email address in the description, and you should just feel free to email me any questions that you don't want to have on YouTube or whatever, and I'll get back to you. I check my emails all the time, so I'd like to thank everybody for watching, supporting the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.